Hey guys, today I am back in the room where you first met me in my first video. This is our bedroom, and I figured I would sit here and have a chat with you guys about my 6-month keto anniversary, which was actually yesterday, but we had a lot going on yesterday, so I'm filming it today. So there are some things I want to talk about and some things I want to help others with if I can. I want to tell you how I got here, any of the struggles that I had, anything that I had to deal with on the way here, where I came from and where I am now. So on January 13th was my first day of keto, which if you read my About Me, not read my About Me, but watched my first About Me introductory video, you'll remember I did try keto once a couple of years ago, and then when I started having the heart palpitations and stuff, it freaked me out and I quit because I didn't have enough information yet and didn't know exactly what to do. So I started January 13th with keto, weighing 300 pounds, and I had been at 300 pounds for probably at least 6 months. So all of the before pictures that you're going to see are from last summer of 2018 and Christmas 2018. All that stuff is just from the prior 6 months before I started at my heaviest weight, which was 300 pounds, and I'm 5'5". So I'm not tall by any means. I've always felt like I was one of those people that I weighed more than I looked, like even growing up, but you know, it is what it is. So as of today, actually yesterday, when I got up and weighed on my 6-month anniversary date, I was down to 230.2. So 0.2 of a pound, or you know, away from being an even 70 pounds lost. So I mean, I'm not gonna fuss about 0.2 of a pound. I'm telling you, I've lost 70 pounds. You know, I mean, it's right there. So 70 pounds in 6 months by doing keto. I have not exercised. I just started within the last month and a half to where we would go walking for, you know, a couple miles at night, but we're only doing that once or twice a week because we really are having a hard time finding time right now to do that. And then I got to the point within the last few weeks where, you know, every other time I would go, I would jog a little bit, like in intervals, and I'd walk and I'd jog a little bit. And I just bought the little, I dropped one on the floor, but I just bought these at Five Below. There's a small, there's a light, a medium, and a heavy, depending on how sturdy they are. I'm using these to try to work on my arms a little bit, but $5 at Five Below for a 3-pack with the 3 different settings. But anyway, let's get back to my life before keto. What I ate was cereal for breakfast, sandwiches for lunch. A lot of times I would just do lunch meat. Didn't always have to be sandwiches with bread. Sometimes I would get tortillas and I would do roll-ups that way. Sometimes I would eat tuna, things like that for lunch, or leftovers from dinner. We would do spaghetti about once a week. We did chicken breast. I mean, we didn't really eat that bad. You know, when you look back on it and you're like, oh, I was a pig. Okay, but you've seen my introductory video. I have my binge moments where I would go and get a ginormous ice cream from Sonic and eat that after eating lunch because I had a bad day. And that was one thing I used to do. If it tasted good, I wanted to eat more of it. And I would have little mini binges like that, I guess. And I would probably say that a lot of times for dinner, I wouldn't go back for seconds, but my serving size was probably at least twice what a serving size should be. And I'll let you know, my husband, he started eating this way when I did because he eats what I feed him, and he's awesome, and he has had no complaints. He has a little bit of extra weight on him, and he's like 5'9", 5'10". And during this time, he's actually lost 30 pounds. So he's back. Actually, he's a little bit smaller than where we were when we met almost 10 years ago. And I am right at, pretty sure, where I was size-wise when we met 10 years ago. So he's lost, you know, all of what he needs to lose. I am pretty much exactly where I want to be halfway, because my goal weight, ideally, is 165. So I'm halfway there, a little over halfway there. But yeah, I mean, I didn't exercise. We would go for walks. We'd go for hikes. We like going hiking because we live in the mountains, but it was not heavy duty hikes with a lot of incline and stuff, because my knees couldn't handle it. And I mean, I could walk a flat surface for an infinite amount of time, but if it had any kind of incline, or, you know, my stamina was like, so we didn't really do much of that. But how I always felt tired. I felt like I didn't have any energy. And, you know, now I always feel like I have extra energy. I can't stand sitting around. I always want to get up and move around and go outside and go do something. I want to go somewhere. I want to go walk around. I want to, you know, I want to move. I can't stand it anymore because I have, as you know, I'm sorry, I have so much energy. I'm looking at notes. I'm a note person. You guys probably figured that out by now. But yeah, so basically I can't sit still. I can't sit around the house. Like if I have 2 or 3 days off in a row or something and we haven't done anything, or my husband's at work or whatever, I get so bored because I have a lot of downtime at work. I've talked about that before. So sometimes I get a lot of downtime at work where I'm bored, which is how I get to watch so much YouTube. So yeah, it sucks when you start getting bored. And I've had maybe about once a month, I would say, we would go out somewhere like a Mexican restaurant or something like that, to where I would eat a little bit of something that's carb, like a little bit of Mexican rice and a little bit of the beans. Like yesterday, we actually did that for dinner on the way home. I had a little bit of Mexican rice, a little bit of beans. I didn't have any tortilla chips because we weren't at our normal place. We were a little bit out of town. But if we're at our normal Mexican place, they have this queso dip that's got bean dip in it. It's like all mixed together. I could eat that stuff for days. But I limit myself. I'm only going to have 4 or 5 chips with some of this dip. That's it. And I put it in my macros. I've calculated my food, with the exception of maybe like 1 or 2 days. I have calculated my food every single day. I also get to the point some days where I try to plan ahead a little bit, so I know that I'm eating what I need to be eating by calculating, okay, if I eat this, I'll be where I need to be macro wise and stuff like that. So I got to a point where I had lost a little over 40 pounds, and it was starting to slow down, which I know it's going to slow down after that first initial big amount of water weight and all that crap gets out of your system. Your inflammation goes down and all that stuff. But I got to the point where it was really creeping or barely moving, and I was like, okay, because I was doing measurements too. Let me see what I can do. And I started listening to Dr. Barry talk about, once you get to a certain point, don't eat as much fat, because you want your body to burn the fat off of your body, not burn the fat that you're putting in your mouth off of your plate. So I lowered my fat, started eating a little bit more protein than I was fat, and it kicked me out of that stall that I was in, and I started losing again. And then I found Tammi's Keto Chaos, and she was basically doing the same thing. She was doing what she considered a high protein keto diet, and she had actually done a lot of calculations and with people's weight and height and age and all that stuff. I think it was just height on where you should be calorie wise, macro wise, with proteins and fats and things like that. And so I put in her recommendations in the app that I use, which is the Berrytastic app, and that's the one that I put my goals into and everything, and my weight and all that. So I've got my weight in there, and what I've ate for today's in there. And if you follow my Instagram page and my Facebook page, the Burnt Ginger Facebook page, I do post my macros every day. I basically explained to you I don't really do any exercise. I just started working on some stuff before because you can't see it as much in this shirt. My arms were huge. My upper arms were probably big around as my freaking head. And I've always had an issue with upper arm fat. Even when I was at a bigger size, like smaller than this, like when I was around 200 pounds or under as a teenager, I've always had bigger upper arms. So I already knew I'm gonna have excess skin here because they are so big. So I prepared myself for that. I know that at some point I'm gonna be at my goal weight and I'm still gonna have big bat wings and, oh my Lord, my nose, big bat wings and extra skin there. And if these resistance bands and exercises and things help, I mean, I've also heard that weightlifting helps, different things like that. There's stuff called dry brushing, taking collagen. All of these things are supposed to help. I might be getting some collagen soon because I do have an Amazon gift card. So I might be trying that soon. I did get one of those big long scrubby brushes at the Dollar Tree today. So I'm going to start trying the dry brushing method. I mean, what could it hurt? Because it's supposed to tighten up skin and rejuvenate and renew like your skin cells and stuff. So I'm going to give that a shot. I think Tammi with Keto Chaos does that as well. I will link hers below so you can check her stuff out. But no exercises. So I figured if nothing else, I will attempt to work on these arms and see what I can do to help reduce that excess skin. But if they're there, they're there. If I can't get rid of them, that's just going to be the way it is. Unless I win the lottery, I'm not one of those people that will have lost all this weight and can afford to go get skin removal surgery. It's never going to happen for me. And I know a lot of us are in the same boat. We live paycheck to paycheck. But I've got more energy. My knees don't bother me. I actually want to get out and move. I want to exercise. I want to do more. I want to be healthier. The main reason I started this journey was, obviously, I was big. I was 300 pounds. But I kept thinking, you know, I'm 5 years older than my husband. At this rate, being 5 years older than my husband and twice what my normal weight should be, I'm probably going to die way before him. I don't want to die before I feel like I've had a full life and spent so much time with him. And he's got two beautiful kids. You guys have met one of them. I don't think Tyler's ever been on video. But these kids, you know, I've been their second mama since they were 3 and 5 years old, and they're amazing. But I just, you know, that the main thing was I want to live longer. I don't want to die at a young age and leave my husband a widow and these kids without their second mom. So, but let's get past all this. I started out wearing when I was at my biggest at 300 pounds, 4X shirt, 26, 28, 24 pants or 3X pants. Now I am wearing, depending on the clothing maker, which we know how this works, anywhere between an extra large and a 2X in shirts, or 16, 18. I do also have like 16, 18, mostly 16 that I can wear, like pants wise. And I still wear stretchy pants, but the sizes that I've been buying in stretchy pants are mostly large, and I do actually have a couple of mediums that I just bought because they're stretchy, you know. And I have smaller, slimmer legs. I've never had an issue with my legs. They've never really been that big. So if I would find something that fit me in the waist, the legs were like this, and I could put both legs in them. If I have any tips at all, everybody's going to tell you electrolytes, electrolytes, electrolytes. I have just added a list of Amazon products below on all of my videos so you can see what I use. There's a powder that I use for electrolytes every day. I'll make one, I put it in my water, and it's like It's like a lemonade. Only this powder and Dr. Berg's powder gives you 1,000 milligrams of potassium. I still take 2 gel caps of magnesium citrate. The cat is driving me crazy. Does anybody want 2 cats? I take a daily vitamin. And in the beginning, I was using the Powerade Zeros to get most of my electrolytes, but there's not that much in those. So basically, they're not a bad way to get it, but you don't really get enough. And if you want to check out, I'll put a link in the iCard above for my electrolyte powder review for one of the reviews I did. And I've actually got a lot of electrolyte information in that video, as well as doing a review on that powder. And that stuff is good too, but it still doesn't give you as much as the one that I use. And the one that I use, I get from Amazon. The link's below in my items that I use. And it's $34, but it comes with, it's 50 servings for $34. That's cheaper than a Powerade every day. So that's what I do. And then the best thing to do, I've told people this before, but tips for starting out, obviously make sure you're having your electrolytes. The easiest thing for you to do right off the bat, if you want to dive head first, which that's the kind of person I am, then you throw out every carb, every sugar, all of that stuff that's processed crap like that in your house away. Or if you want to phase things out a little bit at a time, it's easier for you to do that, to get rid of the sugar and try to do some sugar substitutes. The best sugar substitutes are stevia, erythritol, and monk fruit. I have tried all of them. Stevia, which most people will tell you is a little bitter. Some of it has an aftertaste, but I do have, there's a green squirt bottle of liquid stevia. It's actually mixed with erythritol that Kroger has. That's what I use for my coffee. That's the best thing I've found. I did try the monk fruit drops. I do have some of that left, so that works good. But the monk fruit can be pricey. If you can get used to stevia, that's the cheapest route to go. And I use the erythritol when I'm baking. So that's a good thing to use for that. The main thing is keep it simple. Chicken, hamburger, broccoli. You know, easy. You don't have to make these huge, big meals. You don't have to cook every single day. You can do like we, you know, a lot of us do, where we'll cook a bigger batch of something to last for a few days. You know, or you can meal prep one day a week or twice a week so that you have enough for lunches and dinners and things like that. There was only a couple of weeks probably where I didn't for breakfast have these, but I still drink the Atkins shakes for breakfast, except for sometimes on the weekends, because it helps me get my protein in and it's easier. But there was a period of time where I was eating like a boiled egg and a piece of sausage or whatever, and then when I started needing the higher protein, I was getting the lower fat like turkey sausage and having an egg or whatever. But I'm like, you know what, it's just easier to just have this shake. And a lot of people intermittent fast. I'm not a big intermittent faster. My body, I don't have a gallbladder, by the way, which I've brought this up before. I've never had any issues, but I haven't had my gallbladder in 20 years. But I don't have any issues with that, and I just feel like I do better when I have food in the morning. And I've always gotten up and gotten to work or whatever, and I usually eat like right when I get to work or drink my shake. So I'll have my breakfast at like 7. I'll have lunch around 11, 11:30. And then we eat dinner early because we both get off work between like 3 to 4 o'clock. So we're done eating dinner by 5. And unless it's a small piece of cheese or something once in a while in the evening, if I feel like I get hungry, I'll just have a piece of mozzarella, like a small piece, like maybe an ounce of mozzarella. Oh my Lord, my nose is driving me insane. I'm sorry. My sinuses have been bugging me this week. But, I mean, 99% of the time, after 5 o'clock, I don't eat anything till 7 o'clock the next day, which is still 14 hours. You know, that's still basically a 14-hour fast, which they say technically a 16-8 is the best way to go, 16-hour fast. But I mean, I'm not eating till 10 o'clock at night. I'm still technically doing somewhat of an intermittent fast. It's just 14 hours. So that's not bad. But as far as like eating 2 meals, I tried that for a little while and I was doing okay trying to make it work, but I just can't. I'm one of those people, if I don't eat when I get up, most of the time I feel nauseous within, you know, an hour or two. So, but I still have those shakes. I know, I guess technically what I do is a dirty keto. It's not a strict keto, or it's a lazy keto, you know, but it's not a strict keto. I've never been a strict keto because I have to have coffee. And it has to be sweet and it has to be creamy. And the only thing I've been able to find to put in my coffee for that creaminess is heavy whipping cream. I have tried the almond milk creamer, the unsweetened almond milk creamer. It's not that bad, but it costs a lot more than heavy whipping cream. And I even went through a period of time where I would do like half heavy whipping cream, half almond milk creamer, but I was still buying both. So it's like, whatever. So I have my coffee and I have, you know, my sweetener with that. And I do have the occasional like powdered mixed drink, not mixed drink, but powder adder. Jesus. Water flavors. Powdered water flavors. I do add those once in a while. And then we like to have a treat here and there where I will make cookies or some kind of keto version of something. And if sweets are a trigger for you, stay away from them for a while. Don't make them because you can overdo it. I've overdone it before on keto sweets because they're there. Oh my God, it's a chocolate chip cookie. It tastes so good. I'm only gonna have one. Okay, I'll have 2 later that evening. Oh, I want another cookie. No. You know, it's just so hard. And it's still a struggle, and food addiction is always going to be a struggle. For anybody that's ever dealt with it before, it's always going to be a struggle. You're always going to have a problem with it. You just have to learn to walk away from it, or don't have it around, or try to resist it, or try to do something else instead. If you have made a bunch of these keto sweets and you've had 2 and you want to eat all of them, put them away somewhere out of sight. Don't think about it. Do something else. Distract yourself. Go for a walk. This is something else I believe Tammi was talking about with Keto Chaos. Like a list of things to distract yourself when you feel like you want to binge, or you want to overeat, or you want to just whatever that you shouldn't be doing food-wise, or cheat. Is make a list of things that you can do to distract yourself. Go for a walk. Exercise. Watch something on TV. Write, you know, if you write, play a game, call someone, you know, things like that. I'm lucky to have my husband for support. He helps me because like we had some barbecue pork rinds here last week. The ones he usually get they're out of, and they substituted like the generic ones which they have sugar in them. And I was like, I'll have a couple. He's like, they've got sugar in them. I'm like, I know, I'm only gonna have 2. It's okay. I can have 2. And it's like, it shows like no carbs on the back, but then like sugar is like the 4th ingredient. Like, I'm gonna have 2 pork rinds. I'm okay. So, I mean, he does try to help with stuff like that. But I mean, we don't do keto sweets very often. We used to do them like once a week. Now it's more like once a month. And then when the kids have been here, we've done them a little bit more often, but we haven't done them in a couple weeks now. But basically when it comes down to it, if I want a snack, it's usually cheese. And then since I'm doing higher protein, the mozzarella is better, I think, if I remember correctly, for the higher protein. But I have found things like Quest chips, especially the ranch, they taste like Doritos to me. So like if I need extra protein and at the same time it makes me feel like I'm having normal food, I'm having chips. Quest chips are your friend, and a lot of times GNC has buy one get one half off, which they had again this past weekend. So I got some more Quest chips and some more bars. I do like the bars, and I've done a review on the bars. I've done a review on the chips, so check those out. But when I do the bars, I only eat a quarter or a half a bar at a time. I don't eat a whole bar. I've never eaten a whole bar in one day. The most I've eaten in one day is like 3/4 of a bar. And sometimes they can be a little slippery slope too. Especially my favorite one is the chocolate chip cookie dough. And then my second favorite one is the birthday cake. And they're both so good that they can be addictive. It's like, oh my God, cookie dough. So yeah, just anything that triggers that, oh my God, this is so good in your mind, can be a slippery slope to make you eat more. That definitely helps me to plan ahead, log everything ahead, anything that you can do to help yourself. So it's always good to have a buddy. There's plenty of us out here. I've always told all of you guys that I'm here. If anybody has questions, if anybody just wants somebody to talk to, I'm on Instagram. I have a Facebook page for this channel. Comment below. Whatever if you need help or you just want somebody to talk to, I'm available. And if you've never met or seen Joni's channel, she is awesome. She always wants everybody to have as much keto knowledge as possible, and I feel the same way. Keto Diamond is her channel. I feel the same way. Everybody should have this knowledge, whether you've got money or not. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's expensive. It's not really that bad, honestly, except for now when the kids are here. Our grocery bill every week is only $10, maybe $20 more a week than what we were buying before we started eating keto. It's really not that bad. The most expensive thing is getting some original first time staples. Like if you're buying almond flour, coconut flour, erythritol, Amazon is your friend. Most everything I have that I order is from Amazon. Except for my Quest stuff. I just get those at the stores. When they have buy one get one half off, I get a couple each or whatever. But basically that's what I've got for tips. But 6 months, guys. I can't say I had any really bad struggles food wise. I did have one time, I think this was after I lost the 40. It was during one of those periods of times where I was barely creeping down on the scale, and I was getting frustrated because any other time in my past when I had lost weight, I'd hit 40 pounds and I'd plateau and nothing I did would change it. So I thought it was going to be like that again. And I think I had a bad day on top of that. And I went over to Sonic and I got one of those large ice creams. And I ate the whole thing. And after that, I hurt. My stomach hurt. I had heart palpitations and racing heart, and I felt horrible, on the verge of anxiety attack for 2 weeks. It took me 2 weeks. I stayed keto to get my electrolytes and my system back in order because it freaked my body out. I threw so much sugar in it at one time, it freaked the hell out. So honestly, it's the best thing that ever could happen to me, because had I not done that and it not freaked my body out so bad to where I knew what it was doing to me, I probably would have continued to still try to have some ice cream here and there, and it would have stalled my progress more, or I wouldn't have lost as much as I've lost now. And I feel like it's been an eye-opener, because in the beginning, one thing I said, that stuff you're putting in your body, it's poison. If you want to learn any more information about keto, check out Dr. Berry. Dr. Berg is good as well. I'll link them both below. But Dr. Berry is freaking awesome. I love him. But he's got some great information on how to get started, information on, different things that people have problems with keto. But, that was really the only really bad binge episode or cheat that I had. Because like I said, now we'll go out to eat and I might eat a couple little bites of something. Like when we went to the Scottish festival, of course they had like mashed potatoes or whatever. I had like 4 bites of mashed potatoes, 4 small bites of mashed potatoes. You know, I can have a couple little things like that once in a while. Just, you know, and it kind of helps you too. If you know you can restrain yourself enough to just have a few tastes, then do it if it helps you. To feel like, oh, I had a little bit of that. But there's a lot of people like Joni, Keto Diamond, who have issues with nightshades and peppers and onions and different things where she can't even have a lot of different things because her body, it gets inflammation and gets water weight from it. So you just have to learn your body, learn what you can and can't do. If you eat a specific thing one day that you hardly ever eat and the next day you've gone up a pound or 2 of water weight, then you know your body gets inflammation from that. You can't have it. You just have to learn. You have to learn. And that's another thing, that keeping track of everything you eat and everything you put in your body definitely helps. And like I said, I've done it every day. Every single day except for like maybe a couple of days. I have tracked everything I've ate. So 6 months and 70 pounds. I'm going to show you guys some before and after pictures. I talked about that in the beginning of the video. So that's how I'm going to close out the video with some side-by-sides. One of the first videos I did was a month in, and I've got this camo flowered looking like hoodie thing on, sitting on the couch. I'm going to do a side-by-side of that and me sitting on the bed, because it's probably not much of a difference. Obviously not in the most flattering position, but I'm going to do a side-by-side of that. I'm going to show you some before and afters. And I saw pictures of myself that I found last week, and I looked at myself in those pictures. I'm like, my God, how did I not know I was that big? I mean, I knew I was big. I knew I was 300 pounds. But when I saw myself in the mirror, I didn't feel like I looked that big. And then I see myself in these pictures and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I was that big. I don't feel like I looked that big. And then Riley was standing next to me when I was looking at him, and she looked, she goes, I don't feel like you were that big either. And you know, it's just, your family loves you. They don't care. But, you know, they obviously worry about you. It's just like, wow, I can't believe I let myself get to that. I can't believe I was creeping up past 300 pounds. And had I not done anything about it, I might not be here today. 300 pounds might be a lot sounding to some, and it might not be a lot to some, because there's people who are 500, 600, 700 pounds. But because of my body, who knows? I could have had a heart attack last week if I was still 300 pounds. You know, I mean, we could all die at any moment, but I'm just saying, you know, I feel like there's so much I can do now, so much I want to do now. I have a weird little thing I want to do, which I know I'm already small enough now that I can. I want to ride roller coasters. We have Dollywood here, you know. It's like, okay, next summer I will be riding as many rides as I can at Dollywood. I don't want to do it this summer because I feel like, I know I'm technically a decent enough size that I can probably get in the rides and all that stuff and not have an issue, but I want to feel comfortable doing it. And that's going to be like a gift to myself for coming so far. And even if the next 6 months my weight creeps down slower than how it has, which it probably will, because once you get smaller and smaller, it's harder and harder and slower for it to come off. But the high protein keto definitely helps. Check out Tammy's channel. I will link that as well. But I've come a long way in 6 months, and I'm halfway there. I mean, not saying that it will happen or it won't happen, but at Christmas time I might even be at my goal weight. I mean, that would be awesome. But we'll see. I hope you guys have had a great journey so far. And if you're just starting out, don't be afraid to ask for help. Please do your research. But all I know is I owe my life to keto. And I might not be here today had I not found it. So if you guys need help, ask for help. I'm here. There's a lot of good YouTubers that are out there that are very helpful. And check out Keto Diamond. Check out Tammi's Keto Chaos. Link all of that stuff below. But definitely ask for help if you need it. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.
Sit